Hey everybody, Chris here, and today's episode is brought to you by IDEO. Equip yourself with repeatable, practical frameworks developed by IDEO, empowering your organization to continuously innovate and confidently navigate future challenges. IDEO's courses are built for action, so you can go from learning to doing fast. Apply new skills right away and make real progress. Class starts soon, so enroll today. For a limited time, IDEOU is offering 15% off site wide. So go to IDEOU.com/make it. That's IDEOU.com/make it for 15% off. One more time, IDEOU. So that's IDEOU.com/make it for 15% off. And now on to the show.
I wanted you to say the whole name. Say the whole name.
Greta. No. Greta Quispe.
Yeah.
He had this whole
you say very Antonio Banderas, pero like.
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Make It podcast. I'm your host, Chris Barkley.
That was so exciting. I love it. Yeah. That was one of the best ones. Hello. I was like,
I actually
when you give me that, that came up from I got a little bit. Oh, wait. Let me get that off my face. That was in your throat. That was hello. Thank you for that.
That's one of those Jetsons things, by the way, Nick. That's one of those we were promised, like scratch and sniff technology.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I'm not scratching and sniffing what you just put on my face, bro. I'm wiping that off.
You know what we got? We got ASMR instead.
Oh, yes, this is true.
That's what we got.
And my kids will watch that stuff. My youngest daughter, she loves. See, there it is. She loves the popping of the noises and like a slime. Right, you just put your hands in the slime and make the noise. She's like, "Dad, it's ASMR." I was like, you can't even spell ASMR. What does that even mean? It's just noise.
Are they not aware of your college degree from Vanderbilt?
No, they're not aware.
You can't even spell.
That's right.
But yes, anyway, kids don't know shit.
Yes, no, they. Hey, well,
you know how I feel.
I know how you feel about it.
Are you going to introduce yourself, or should we start this podcast over?
I don't need to. You know
what?
Should know it by this point. Come on, man.
It's NBA playoffs. It's baseball season. I think if you don't introduce yourself, I'm going to run you. You're out of here.
You're just done.
You're out of here. All right. I'm running you.
Okay. Nick Leave Bugs, aka Sexual Chocolate, aka Chocolate Stud, whatever you want to call me. I'm here to have a good time as usual.
I love it. And here to guide us on this podcasting journey, as usual, is producer Papa Bear and intern Sam. Fellas, say hello.
Hello. Solo. You just leave me out to dry, bro. Okay.
Yeah. Just the excitement, Sam.
It's cool with me. It's fine.
But
the excitement was so great. It was just there. Just hello.
You guys are supposed to time this thing up a little better than that, I would think.
Chris wanted high excitement. I had to perform. Yeah.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Love it.
For stepping up your game today.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, if I can drag this out any further, Chris, you always open up, hello. You always say it twice.
I do.
When we're finished, you don't say...
It's something we call branding.
Yeah. So, but you don't say goodbye.
Oh, shit. What's that head exploding emoji?
No, that would just be...
But you know why we say
Sam
goodbye?
Said, no.
Anyway, when did we first start saying goodbye? We didn't always say goodbye. We said, God be with ye.
Oh,
if you write that, spell that out.
That's goodbye.
God be with ye. It got shortened over time, at least in English, to goodbye.
How did you find that out?
Something I wanted to know.
When did you find that? That is pretty good. I'm going to give you a...
Thank you.
Good job, Papa.
Nice.
That was well played. That was very, very good. Okay, and with us is our esteemed guest. Greta Quispe.
What?
Greta Quispe.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
How's that sound? Was that good?
I love it.
Did that feel good? That feel good?
That was perfect.
I love it.
That was
Greta?
great. I like how you roll your R's.
I'm very good at it. I heard that's genetic. Like you either can do it or you can't.
It's
Like
the German in you.
like rolling your tongue.
Mm.
Yeah, it's genetic. Like you can either roll your R's or you can't. Is that true? Does anybody, Papa
Oh,
Bear?
is that true?
That is true.
Will you
Some of my
GPT that?
friends
Wow.
can't. Yeah, some of my friends can't. We clown them. I can.
Wow.
Why would you
I
get
love
clowned
it.
for that?
I love it. He's a
That's
clown.
great.
Nope, you can't do
Friends,
it.
friends find any reason like to joke on friends. I love that about. Yeah, I love that.
Sam's over there like, say burrito.
Say burrito. And say it authentic.
Burrito.
Right.
Say it authentically.
Un burrito.
We keep
Oh,
breaking
there
it
you
out
go.
all
Good.
the time. Like,
Mm.
we had an incident where we were at Chewy's. It's a Tex-Mex place we have in the South.
Overrated.
I like
Sorry.
Chewy's. I
don't-
think it's good.
I think Chewy's been used.
It's pretty good.
Great garbage.
He just hated on it. But go ahead, Sam.
But we're
They
ordering.
distract you with the decor.
Mm.
100,000%.
I don't know. I think it's pretty good. They bring out like ranch to dip your chips in. It's awesome.
Nice.
But
Okay.
my buddy, it's like 5 of us there. 3 of my buddies order carne asada, right? And it gets
Okay.
my one friend. He's very pale, very very pale guy. And he goes, "I'll have the carne asada." It's like that. We almost had to make him leave. I mean, I'm gonna be honest.
You got to run him.
We're
You got to run. That's a
That was,
technical
we,
foul.
were, we were close. It
That's
was a
technical
close
foul.
one.
You got to run him, Sam, for that. That's crazy.
Hence
By the way,
ranch.
Nick, we're never going to have Chewy's as a sponsor now.
No, you totally clowned it.
Yep. I blew
They're
that.
out.
I
Check
blew that for us.
Mark
That deal's
draw a
off.
line through that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thanks
we
for
had
that.
it. We had it. We were close. We draw a line right through that. Okay. On to our delightful guest. Greta, can you tell us a little bit more in this audience what we might know you for, what you're working on now, or what you're excited about? We'd love to hear it.
Sure. So, hi, I'm Greta. I am an actor. I've had a couple of bit roles here and there. I recently, a recent episode of Matlock that I worked with the wonderful Kathy Bates. So it was a wonderful experience. I was also on New Amsterdam, which was a show about a medical, about a hospital, and just a very handsome lead, And I played Nurse Sabrina in a couple of episodes on that one, just a little bit here and there, scattered. I'm excited about a new Tyler Perry show that I had a couple of guest star episodes on. It's coming out sometime in June. It's called Divorced Sisters. And so I'm excited about that one. But yeah, so a couple little here and there.
Wait a
I've
second.
heard
Did you
of
say
the-
it was
I've heard of
Divorced
Divorced
Sisters?
Sisters.
Wait.
Yeah.
This is a Tyler Perry show, right?
Divorced Sisters.
Thank you.
Yeah, sisters.
I didn't know where you were going with that. Okay. I should have known. I don't know
Divorce
why.
Sisters.
I don't know why I was surprised by that in any way. But tell us about the show. I have seen some previews of this already. So tell us about what this show is about and what your role is.
Sure. So the show is about best friends who just go through trials and tribulations. They're both see, I don't know how much I can say.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Well,
because
this,
we
by
have
the
to
way,
sign some stuff.
this will not air until the show is likely aired. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, feel free.
So, it's about 5 females. They're divorced, and they go through struggles together. And it's actually a really good show. Like Mr. Perry works really, really fast, so you had to read everything. Like you had to basically study all the episodes and make sure you were on point. And it's such a good show, you guys. Like even if I wasn't in it a couple of episodes, I think I would be glued to the television for this. I mean, it's a great show. It's drama and infidelities here and there, so it's fine.
It's what we
So you
come
worked
to
in
know and
Atlanta?
love from Tyler Perry.
Yes, I worked
Yeah.
in Atlanta for that one.
Atlanta's changing.
Yeah.
Atlanta seems to be changing recently, right? Like the production there has changed a little bit in terms of some shows.
Yeah, I mean
leaving.
Tyler Perry, my God bless him. My goodness, he's such an inspiration. He came from very humble beginnings, and he's making it happen for Atlanta, for actors, for he's employing a lot of people over there, and he's wonderful as well. So yeah, so
I hear the studio
Atlanta's
is
picking
like
up.
a college campus.
It's gorgeous,
Yeah, I hear it's like
absolutely
a
stunning.
yeah, I hear it's it's something that you should actually just go tour. You know what I mean? Like you should
Yeah.
just like visit it, because there's really nothing like it, even outside of Atlanta. Like, I want to just go just to see it, but I'd love to be down there for work for like a real reason, like
I want
a
to go to his
film
house.
reason. You want to go to his
I
house?
want to go to the house,
I've
bro.
seen those aerial pictures too. Those are crazy.
Yeah, I want to go to the airstrip in the back of his house and fly those planes that he builds himself. Those remote control
You're a
planes.
brave man.
Yeah, dude, those
Oh,
remote
you want to
control
fly them? You don't want
things.
to be in them.
Oh no, they're small. Well, I
Okay.
mean, they're bigger than any remote control plane you've ever seen in your life, but they're toys that
Oh,
he
I think I
builds with a
saw that. Yeah.
friend of his, and he has an airstrip in the back of his house. It's just a cool hobby to have.
Yeah, I think
He's
so.
a cool guy.
You can kind of pick and choose your
Yeah, he
hobbies.
deserves
I
it
think
all.
at that level. I do want to just ask about your beginnings, Greta. There is a story about your dad winning the lottery. Now, if you win $250 in the lottery, is that still like, can you say you won the lottery
Yes,
at that
A small
level?
amount.
Like like like
that's right. But and it could
I
be an impactful amount. You never know.
well, it's like you go into the
It was for
hospital
me. I got my headshots.
and
There you go.
some people will say, I had a surgery. You're like, oh, you had a surgery. What was it? Well, I had LASIX. And you're like, well, that's a procedure. And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
there's like this thing that happens. Like it's like, so that was the spirit,
Bro, if they're
the spirit of that comment.
if they're lasering part of my eyeball off, dude, that's a surgery right
Surgery.
there.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's be
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
well, I
Mhm.
think people pick
I'm with
these
you,
words.
Sam.
Is it a procedure or is it a surgery? Not LASIK, but there's a lot of things like
No.
that. And so my dad won the lotto. Oh my God, you're rich. No, he won 250.
That's so
But
true.
here's the deal: you
It was
did
an
get those
impactful 250.
headshots,
Exactly.
and were those headshots really your entree into being an actress and being in film and television, or were you already pursuing that heavily and had already booked roles before that?
No, this was my entree. So what happened was, my mom, I was raised in Bronzeville, Brooklyn,
Make it in New
and
York.
we didn't
There it
really
is.
have any money, and here I am. Hey, so we were here. We were like, me and my mom, we were talking about just, things that I wanted to do. And I was like, I want to be an actor. And I really thought that they were going to be like, are you crazy? You're not going to make any money. Da, da, da. She was like, okay. And then I got a backstage, and then I, I looked for things on what to do. And I went to an acting school, and then they did, and we didn't know anything. My mom had saved money, and, we were like on SNAP and, Medicaid. We just like,
Yeah.
we were not well off at all. So, but she has saved up her money to put me in an acting school to see what happens, right? See what
Yeah.
happens. So we went to the acting school. I had a showcase, and 3 agents were interested in me at that time, and I went to their offices, and the one that we liked, and she was like, "Okay, let's get the ball rolling. Now, where are your headshots?" We were like, "What is that? What?"
Oh,
And they're like,
Mm.
wow.
"Oh, you don't have headshots?" And I was like, "No, we don't have headshots. What is that?" And she showed us and whatever. And then she was like, "It's okay. We can start you with a Polaroid." And took a Polaroid picture of me just to take it to." directors and just so that I. And then a couple of weeks later, my dad, he won the lotto.
Yeah.
It's called the lotto in the hood because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
probably dominoes or whatever.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
called it domino. I don't know where he got the money from, but
It's
he
the
called it
lotto.
lottery. So no, he won
Yeah.
the lotto. So it was like $250. And
Yeah.
then he gave me the whole thing so that I can get my headshots.
That's
And
amazing.
then I got my headshots. And then I gave it to my agent. And yeah,
Let's
The
go,
rest,
Dad.
the rest is history.
that was a
And
long time.
what was the first role you sort of booked off? I would say those headshots are your first role you did that as an actor or
Okay,
actress.
gosh, let me tell you what happened with that one.
Mm-mm.
So I was signed by an agent when I was 17 years old, a very long time ago,
Wow.
with the headshots,
It's
right?
so
So
hard to
submitted
get an
whatever.
agent too. So congrats to that.
It's so hard. It's such a blessing. Like, I'm also Christian, so it's gonna come up a lot.
Cool.
So um I would have these auditions. They were very rare though, because thank God, it's become more diverse, film and TV, but back then, not at all.
Okay.
So it was barely any little pepperies of auditions here and there. And so I was signed when I was 17. I had a couple auditions, couple callbacks. I didn't book, right? My first booking of a co-star, by then that was 10 years later.
Mm.
So I kept trying and trying, but nothing happened. 10 years later, I
Wow.
booked my first co-star with my new headshots. Now I have a job. So,
Yeah.
and then I booked my first co-star. Then I waited another 10 years, and then that's when I started booking.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
What
yeah,
happened in
it
between
took
there?
a
Was that where
while.
you did all of your training in that time? Is that like the
Well, I
Meisner
went
and the
to
method acting
college.
that you learned to do?
Yeah, so I took classes at Lee Strasberg Film Theater Institute in New York,
Nice.
but it was just like intensives. I never went to a conservatory or anything like that. I went to Long Island University, the Brooklyn campus, and I studied social work there, which is what I also do, for the consistent pay.
Mm.
I do that. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I got my degree, and yeah, so I was just like living life, and I got a degree in social work because I figure let me get a profession, let me work in a profession where I study human behavior so I can just use it in my little toolbox
Mm.
for
That's
acting.
actually
That's
fascinating. Yeah.
really what acting is. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you would say that helped, like that degree, it like helped you in your profession, like acting, like
Yeah, yeah.
does it help you to listen to the person you're performing against, or does it help you find the emotion inside yourself more, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, in social work, there's a lot of active listening, and which is the same thing with an actor. And
Mm.
I think it allows me to study behaviors, the reasons why we do the things we do, because I was also a minor in psychology. So I think it's great when I'm building backstories for characters. If I need to do a backstory, then why is she reacting in this way? What
Yeah.
happened in her past? So I just gather from clients because I work with so many different populations. So I just gather from them, or if I can't think of it creatively, I'll just remember a client who I've helped in their life story. And I just, based on the context, I just put it into, you know, Maria,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatever the
Yeah, yeah.
character is.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I
I
just
can
go from
I
there.
I
can
love
only
I love the
imagine for
inside
one of those
baseball on
clients
that, Nick.
though, Chris. Like, but think about
Yeah.
one of the clients watching a show and be like, "That's me." like,
I know.
like that's my life that
Yeah.
she's
Talking like
acting
Yeah.
that.
right now.
Oh,
That'd be
Right.
crazy.
Well, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about that with Dominic Hoffman, the great
Hmm.
Dominic Hoffman. Is like when you're writing stuff, you're mixing your imagination with your lived experience.
Yeah, that's right.
And so sometimes the people you know in real life bleed into your fiction writing, and then they see themselves in your characters, and then they hate you for they're like, yo,
You're
that
right.
is
Come on,
me. Like,
bro.
what are you
Yep.
doing? You know what I mean? So
But I'm
yeah,
sure
it
no
could.
one has done that.
I
No
can
one has
totally
caught
see it
on the
happening.
street and been like, "Yo, listen, Maria." Okay.
Roll those R's.
Maria Conchita.
That's
No,
right.
no, I'm
Well,
like,
the
oh yeah.
inside baseball on that, Greta. You tell me if I'm wrong or right, but the inside baseball on that is that my guess is that you get cast for very, very similar roles and stereotypes, just like I feel like any actor of color does.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you know what? And yeah, and I've gotten that question before, right? And it's
Mhm.
like, man, like I'm working, and it's almost like
Yeah.
it's okay to play. Not, like I'm not, constantly gonna play it, but if it's an
Mhm.
opportunity, like I will still do it because these are real people as well,
Yeah.
and I just the kind of roles that I've done. If Scorsese comes up to me and he's like, would you mind being a prostitute for Leonardo DiCaprio? Honey,
I,
Maria Panchita Gonzalez de la Rue, whatever. I'm, you know what I'm saying? I gotta do it. And I'm so blessed to be working. I mean, eventually, I will. If I ever get to that point of being able to say no, then I'll say no. But as for now, I am trying to ride whatever wave comes my way.
Yeah, and
yeah.
Chris, I think about
Yeah.
that too, like because I think sometimes we tend to think about it that way as like they're stereotypical. But it's more like
Hmm.
no, like we exist. These characters exist in the world. So like like Greta was saying, these are real people. right?
Yeah.
Whether like, no matter what that role is, they're real people. So it's like, hey, if I get to play that real person, why not? That person looks like me, they sound like me.
Yeah.
I do that
Yeah.
part well. Hey, I'll take it.
I,
Let's go.
I actually don't. I'm with both of you. I don't begrudge it at all. Because here's the deal. If there's work to be done, somebody's going to book it. If you don't, that's that's just the truth. It's too competitive to say no. And then, but here's the other thing. Here's and this. If there's a negative, it's this. The reason the stereotypical roles exist is because the imaginations of the writers are limited to those
Yes.
characters. So when they see a Peruvian American, actress, okay, she can play Hispanic, Latino, she can do it. Okay, well, what's a Hispanic look like? What's a Latino look like? Latino look like in New York? And what would they talk like? What would their behavior be like? And that's what becomes the stereotype. The roles start to expand when you can imagine Greta in the same role that you could imagine Kristen Bell in. Then the aperture starts to open a little bit, right?
Well, and
So
then there's she's not going to be credible in a role that as a Norwegian cod fisherman.
We know.
Okay,
Right.
that's amazing.
But they can do amazing things with makeup.
Yeah, and well, I wouldn't
I
count
agree.
Greta out, man. Like put her in the role and see how it looks, see what she brings to the role because she's Meisner trained, method trained. She can do it. Now you were in one of my favorite movies from a year ago, I believe, American Fiction, and I'm curious if anything. So Cord Jefferson is a writer director of this film. It was nominated for Best Picture, and I'm curious, it being his first time, was there anything that you were able to teach him in terms of how he directed actors? And is there anything you learned from him working with him? I guess that's a two-sided question.
No, he was just so grateful. Like at the end, he was just like, "Thank you so much for this is my first time directing. Thank you so much for taking this opportunity with me." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Are you-
Yeah.
like, excuse me, Mr. Jefferson, who and Mr. Jeffrey Wright. Are you kidding me? Like, and then I played a director of a nursing home, like, and it's like, goodness gracious, and working with Jeffrey Wright. Oh
Yeah. Yeah. He just showed up in The Last of Us, and I'm like, heck yeah. That's what we needed.
my,
That's what we needed this season. Some
it,
Jeffrey
it, it
Wright.
was so nerve wracking.
He's
Yeah, and John Ortiz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
he's
mean, it
actually
was.
in the game too, Chris. I don't know. I'm sorry to interrupt. He's
No. This is great,
he
Sam.
runs both.
I didn't know that because I didn't play. Have you played the game, Sam?
Both of them, yeah.
I've never played it. So what platform is it on? This is like a noob question, but like what platform?
PlayStation.
So it's on PlayStation.
Exclusive.
So
Yeah,
this is.
Sony.
I don't know why I thought this was a PC game.
It's on PC.
Okay,
They're
like I
they're
thought it
on
was
PC
like
now.
But did it become popular on PlayStation, Sam, or did it become popular on PC and then move to PlayStation?
Yeah, so it's a PlayStation exclusive. The
Okay.
first one, they're both on PS4, and now they're on PS5. And then Sony's got like an initiative with PlayStation and their games now, so they're putting them all on PC,
Oh,
more
this is
accessible.
How do you feel
so
about the
crazy.
female actor, Sam? My son, he's like, she don't look anything like the girl in the game. Like I hate that. He's like, the guy does, but the girl doesn't. I don't like it.
No,
What are
she
your
doesn't
thoughts?
look anything like the like Ellie in the game. It's done by Ashley Johnson, who's like an actual actor too. She's also horrendous. She's really not good. I really don't like her at all. That's why I'm not watching season 2. So
Wow,
Season
that
2 is
sucks.
really good. Check out episode 2 of season 2, Sam.
I'll probably
Sam-
get around to it.
yeah.
They talked about how they're doing 3 seasons to cover the second game, so they're running
Okay.
it for 4 seasons. So
Okay.
Draw us out. Not gonna stay alive
digress.
all this time.
But back to Greta, her lived experience was actually pretty good
Yeah.
for that role
enjoying the whole
because the
time.
director of a nursing home is often someone with a social work background.
Mm.
Yeah, and they didn't even know I
Great
had
point,
that
PB.
that background, so I
So
used it.
Because you played the
yeah,
part
there you
so
go.
well, you know. She just
But
If
yeah.
if if we were casting you, we would have known that. Yeah, we're
yes,
just
yes. We have
saying,
inside
we
baseball.
we
Inside
would have known.
baseball.
Now, this is what's interesting, by the way, Sam. A lot of people will read a book and then go watch the movie based on the book. And then sometimes people will watch a movie and say that movie was so good. I'm now interested in the book. I'm going to go read the book.
No, you're gonna
And
go play the
now I feel
game.
like we're moving into this world where games are such IP now.
Hmm.
There's been like at least 15 or 20 movies in the last 5 years based on games.
Oh yeah,
So
for sure.
Yeah.
now it's like, do you play the game and get mad because the movie doesn't match, or do you watch the movie, you're a guy like me, and be like, okay, now I'm interested in Minecraft, now I'm interested in The Last of Us?
For me, I mean, the Last of Us games did a lot for kind of creating cinematic experiences in gaming. So really
Yeah,
having a rich narrative, or a lot more narrative driven than most games. So a lot of it comes from like the gameplay is really good, but it's there's a lot more kind of slow sections with story and those types of things. And so I really think that it provides an interesting opportunity because like the first season of The Last of Us came out in whatever 2022 or 3 something like that,
yeah,
and there's obviously been like a year and a half break, and so it allowed time, and Sony knew this, right? So they put The Last of Us Part 2 on PS5 and on PC so that people could go play it and see the rest of the story before it's in the show,
yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
get that payoff. They don't have to wait, which is nice in the
It's
world
cool.
of Netflix, right? Where Stranger
Yeah.
Things new season, wherever that is, right? Talks about it's getting cut up into 3 parts, and you got to wait a
Yeah,
year, and you lose interest, and it bridges that gap a little bit, which is pretty cool.
I dig it. And before
I
we get
kind of
into
want to
some
play the
audience
game
poll,
now.
me
See?
too, I'm with you. So before we get into audience polls with you, Sam, I just want to ask Greta this one question about top of show rate. I know there's going to be a lot of people. Matter of fact, most people in our audience, shout out to the YouTube audience, by the way, would view themselves in your position. They want to be actors or actresses, or what, a lot of times we just say actor now. But they will be listening to this and they will want to know, what do they have to do? What is the process? How do you get, first of all, what is top of show rate, and how do you get it when you're negotiating roles, especially, roles where you're supporting
Okay, so
or
it's
guesting?
like the hierarchy is like co-star, guest star, top of show guest star, recurring, and series regular. You're doing
Okay.
like a TV show or a series, right?
Mhm.
A
Um,
hierarchy.
so when you're like a guest star, you can ask your agent to negotiate to be a top of show guest star. From my knowledge, you'll get a little bit more money, and but you also your name pops up in the credits in the beginning of the show,
hmm
Mhm.
either single card by itself or with other actors, so you can negotiate that as well. So for top of show, it's you could negotiate it, but you have a little bit more power to negotiate it if you've already done other guest stars.
Okay.
So yeah, so once you've done one guest star, maybe your next one could be top of show. But once you've done one top of show, and you're working on another show more, I believe, more than 2 days, then you're automatically top of show or something like that, or you can say you want to be
Oh,
top of show,
okay.
and you can do that.
And what's the
There,
hierarchy
I
again?
think.
It was a hierarchy again. That was
My
good. That was
agent's
good.
like, what the?
You're right. Yeah. How did it go? What
it's,
was the
it's,
levels?
it's co-star. I feel bad doing that. Co-star, guest star, top of show guest star, recurring, series regular.
all right,
Nice.
all right.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll make sure we keep
Yeah.
that
But
keep that
actors
top of
out there that
mind.
you guys want to pursue it, just keep doing it. And it doesn't matter the hierarchy. If you love it for what it is, playing, then you're never going to be disappointed. Of course, we all want to move up and play other roles, but just live in the moment of what you have. Every audition, every booking is a win. Even if you don't book it, you get to play. You get to do what you love. It's amazing.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love it.
Me too. That's very, very good. Sam,
Mm-hmm.
let's do it, man. What do you
Let's go,
think?
man.
Can we hop into some audience polls, sir?
I think we can.
Give us
I
some
think we can. I
audience
think it's
polls,
time.
Sam.
There we go. All right.
The energy.
I think it's time.
Yeah,
It's
right.
time. There we go.
Caffeine.
All right. So I got some. That's what I've been sipping on.
Yeah, I see you over there.
Belmont mug, some coffee.
Nice. Let's go Belmont. See you representing.
Do my best. Do my best.
Mhm.
Shout out to
Okay.
Belmont.
Shout
Come
out to
come
Belmont.
sponsor Belmont.
That'd be cool.
Would
So, Greta,
Yes.
with the research that Papa Bear provided, we kind of saw that you have a lot of experience playing kind of a myriad of different types of genres and types of roles. So I thought it would be interesting to run a poll. What type of acting is the most difficult? So what type of roles are the most difficult to play? Now, number one, pretty unsurprisingly, is drama, 53%. Number two, comedy, 28%, which I feel like is kind of deceptive, a little, deceptively difficult. Horror with 10%, and then action, 9%. So, pretty interesting results, a little all over the place. But
What do you think,
Yeah.
Greta? Is that on point? Like drama's the hardest to do out of
Yeah.
all of them?
Well, it depends. I think if you're a wounded, unhealed individual, you can play drama very well.
Mm,
Honestly,
that's
because
like
you
everybody.
literally have it in you to be that vulnerable.
Okay.
So yeah, so hence my reel. No.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think I think comedy is very hard to play, and I consider myself funny to any friends that are watching out there in life. But when it's like actually the lines and like the beats, I mean, comedians are amazing, and then I think that's very hard to play as comedy. It's very, very hard. And for me, I find roles to be hard. Well, if they don't have that drama, if they don't have that torture of something going on with the character, if I'm just like saying lines or just like there's no real like there's no trauma behind it, I think it's a little difficult for me to navigate. But when there is something going on, like someone took my child, or uh I put a gun to my head in one of Blue Bloods episodes. Shout out to Blue Bloods, great show. I think those I thrive in. Again, unhealed trauma, I can do those. But the other ones that are more simple are like, oh shoot, I gotta like go to my social work and come up with the backstory
Mm.
and make believe I'm that person. Sometimes it's hard to do that, when you're not really playing much. It's like, but
So it
yeah,
would be hard for you to do like a Liberty
did that answer
Mutual
your question?
commercial? Is that
Liberty
what it'd
Bibbity.
be? Yeah, exactly.
I want to do the
See,
yeah, I want to do that so
that's
freaking
the best
bad.
one though. Like
Liberty
he hasn't.
Mutual.
Everything after that's not good. That one, Liberty Bibbity is the
Hey
best.
man, those
out of
He's
dudes
all of
get
them.
amazing,
paid.
that
Those
guy.
dudes gets paid.
I know he does. He's also a soap opera star,
Oh
bro.
my
But like
Liberty Bibbity gets paid now.
yes, but he's also a soap opera star. So what I'm saying is Liberty Bibbity, that one commercial was the best one. Everything after that, I'm like, man, you're just trying to, get Bibbity again. But that first
And
one,
he's
bro,
an
I was like, that's
actor.
awesome.
His delivery is
Yeah.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And
He is so funny. I mean, ooh,
commercial
I
writing
would
isn't
love
for
to do
everybody for that reason, right? Because there's so many people that are like not creative in that creative space, I should say, and they would never in a million years seriously consider writing the words Liberty Bibbity on
Oh, it
a
was wonderful.
like on a script, right? And you have to know that that's going to work, right? Like to write that out. So I just think I think it's great.
yeah, the delivery
Now,
Yeah,
from the
was
actors.
horror on the
exactly.
bottom, Sam? Was horror the bottom one?
it was third from. So it was the third most, I guess, but it was only 1% above action. So it was 10%, and then action's 9%.
Why do
So really,
people
really
think
close.
action is easy?
I think they think about it from the
They
acting
haven't met Tom
perspective.
Cruise.
They don't exactly. They don't think about all the physical stuff. I think
Action
that's
is
what it is.
hard.
I think
To
no, I
me.
think they're thinking
Really
about
hard.
it
That's really
from
hard.
the character part.
Mhm.
I think that's what it is, like the spoken word
Acting
part
part
of
of
the
it.
acting, not all the physicality and stuff. Because yeah, like you said, just ask Tom Cruise. Come on, man.
You can ask
Well,
Tom
and
Cruise, but you can also ask the DPs that have to work with Tom Cruise, and all
right.
the setup.
Yes,
The setup for action
yes.
is so hard, and you only get so many tries to do that. If you're doing comedy, and Nick, me and you can attest to this when we did Adult Interference, you can have 40 takes.
No, so can Tom Cruise. He can fly off that
Yeah.
that cliff.
No, they do that. They do that. Like when he did that
The
motorcycle stunt,
motorcycle.
he did it
Yeah.
like 7 times, and like
Seven's not 40.
I bet it feels like 40.
I
But-
bet it does for everybody
Yeah.
involved. Yeah.
But have a scene,
Seven's not
Sam.
40.
Have a scene that involves a car explosion or any explosion.
Well,
You get one chance to do that.
I think it also involves a different kind of difficulty layer too, which is, you know, I'm in this room with green walls and I'm acting to a tennis ball. You know, what is
Yeah.
that?
Oh, if it's a green
That's
screen,
super
it's not,
difficult.
if it's
Right.
not practical.
Exactly.
Okay, got
And
it.
that's, you know, Dwayne Johnson pulls up and then he's got to do that. And like people don't give The Rock any credit, you know, for
He's
good
coming out with a new
reason.
movie where he's
He
playing a
is.
wrestler. He's
Yeah.
probably gonna get awards for that one.
That's his
Okay.
push. That'll be his push. I think he'll be able to do it. Well, and he's pivoting pretty hard because he's in the new Scorsese that's on the way, and he's changing it up. But I think that he got, you know, I think a lot of people see someone like The Rock and they see him play himself or play a version of himself, and they're like, well,
Yep.
I can
Right,
do
they see a
that.
version of the wrestler.
Yeah. And they're like, I can do that, right? You know, anyone can do that. So therefore, I don't think people see it as difficult. When in actuality, like the reason he's in all these movies is because he can do it, right? He's got that down. It's just it's not that he is.
It's not just saying lines. It's just
Exactly.
I remember one time I got a DM on Instagram. The person was like, I did a little thing on Succession, which long story, but
Love that show.
and how can I apply to be on Succession? I said, how can you apply to be on Succession? No, darling, that's not how it works.
No application
No, you know, and
process.
I think a lot of people just say, well, I can do that. I can just go on camera and like, you know,
Yeah.
say the lines. I mean, you could, but you
Yeah.
probably won't be really successful and nobody really will. I mean, everybody works, right? That's meant to work. But I think all actors that really want to take this serious should want to work in serious things and show their talent, and their love of the craft means involvement in the craft and studying the craft. So, yeah.
It's a little
I don't know, I
disrespectful.
ADD'd completely.
It's a little disrespectful, right? Like and this person may be a great performer. I have no idea who this person is, but it's this idea that they can just hop in and do what you do. Why not? And it's like,
Yeah.
well, I put in a lot of work on this, man. I did some training. I auditioned for 10 years. I got jobs here or there. Like, this is not,
Yeah.
you know, super simple. Like have a little bit of that respect, right? People thought that with podcasting. I can't tell you how many people just are like, oh, you just click record, right? I'm like, no. I wish that was what the podcast game was.
That's so dismissive.
But when you're really, really in it, it's there's a lot to it, and everybody on this podcast knows that. But to be fair, you don't expect a person not doing it to know that. So we give a little grace too. Sam, hit us with the next poll, my friend.
Yeah.
Hit us with your next shot.
Clap Nick with the next
Just with the
poll.
best shots.
I know where it's going. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
So also pulled from the research,
Throw that
we
poll
know you
on.
have. Okay. We have some knowledge that you that you have some experience stage acting, and so it's another one which is more difficult: stage acting or screen acting. Now this one went
Ooh.
about how I kind of thought it would. Right, 82% said stage acting is more difficult. 18% said screen acting.
Is Greta? Is
Yeah,
that
I would agree.
Is that
I kind of thought so.
is
too.
that one of those things where society has said that so much that you find yourself repeating the narrative as if it's an original thought, when in fact you've just heard stage acting is harder than screen acting?
Oh, it really is harder, and I've always
Okay.
feared doing stage acting before I started doing it. Because it's like live,
It's
right? Like
live.
if you mess
Yeah.
up a line in a television show, okay, cut this. I mean, you don't want to mess up in front of Tyler Perry because you know that's or Core Jefferson. Like it's like, you know, but you can start over. You can cut. I mean, it's wasting tape and it's costing the studio money. But in theater, oh no, darling, yeah, fuck up. You fuck up everybody else around you, and they will see. The audience can tell. It's hard, but it's also exhilarating. It's beautiful because like I said, in film and TV, cut, stop, and you're in it, and you're like when I was working with Kathy Bates, and we would cut the scene, and I was crying because it's what I do, trauma. I was crying, and makeup, they cut, and makeup was trying to, Miss Bates was like, no, not leave her alone, because I was in it. And sometimes you know, gotta go for light to fix the light and stuff. You gotta get interrupted. Whereas in theater, you're in it and you live in the moment and you take the audience with you on that full ride. And that's the beauty of it. But it's scary as hell. So it is hard.
Yeah, it's one. I just watched this thing with Denzel, right, talking about Othello, and he said, "Theater is an
Mm.
actor's medium, movies are a filmmaker's medium." And I thought that was really, really
Yeah.
cool, really insightful. But he did mention the same thing about, yeah, you're on stage, you're live, like you have to get it, and you have to do it in front of all of these people.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. So very astute by him. By the way, did you guys see him getting that little kerfuffle at Cannes?
Yeah.
What was that
touching
about?
him.
Don't touch me.
The guy was.
Oh, is that
touching
what
him.
he's saying? He was just
He
getting
grabbed
touched
his
a little
arm.
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's too familiar. He's like, you don't know me, bro.
It was
like, don't.
no. It was, well, what happened? It was weird. He grabbed him. Denzel. Well, ASAP Rocky walked up and then he kind of scurried off after that. But
he did.
But he grabbed Denzel and Denzel was like, "Don't touch me," right?
Yep.
And then he went and grabbed him again because he wanted. He wanted to be like hooked arms with him. He wanted to be. He wanted that moment. There was a classic moment, I think, of all publicity is good publicity. I didn't really work out for him.
No,
I don't think.
it didn't.
I'm
Not
kind
at
of getting
all.
that vibe.
Oh, you're thinking it didn't work out for Denzel or the other guy?
No, for
The other guy. The other guy. Oh, that
Who was
other guy's cooked.
who was the other guy? Do we know him?
Some dude. Nah, he's just some dude. That was
It reminded
top.
me of a scene from the movie Maria, starring Angelina Jolie, where the financier, who is I don't know who it's played by. He did a great job, but basically that guy was Jacqueline Onassis' father. Okay, and he had a massive sort of empire he had built for South America, and they're in this party, right? And there's this woman that walks up to him, and she is not sort of like glazing him to the degree that he is used to, and it becomes very clear that she is not going to, and she might not know who she's talking to. And he gets so frustrated by this, he turns to the Maria character, played wonderfully by Angelina Jolie. If you haven't seen the movie, I've said it a bunch of times, go see it. Yeah, she loses herself in the role. And he says, will you let her know that I'm the richest guy in the room? And it's like this moment of, when you have a lot of money and power and people don't recognize your money and power, it pisses you off, because what is the money and power for them?
Yeah, I think in Denzel's
and that
position,
guy might have been a financier, and you're like, you're going to recognize me. I pay for your movies.
Yeah,
maybe,
and
or something
the
like
opposite
that.
side of that is that Denzel is just. It's funny because he just not that he's not. It's not about the streets or the hood or neighborhood.
Right,
it's like,
right.
The way I look at it is like kind of like my uncles, right, and probably how my dad is and how I am, right, where it's just kind of like there's certain people have to remember themselves and not get so familiar. Yeah. That's what it is. It's like, because there's certain lines
he's still a person.
You're not supposed to cross. Exactly. It's like,
that's
I don't know. Like you don't get so familiar. That's all I'm asking. And he was really nice about it, right? Especially the first time. He's like, no, just don't do that. Like he wasn't pissed. He was just putting him in his place. And then when he grabbed his arm again, it was like,
all right, here we go. You know, bro, he's the equalizer.
Exactly. That's what everybody was saying. They're like all the little memes were like, what is it? No. Don't let him set his watch.
Yeah, don't let him set his watch. Don't let him move that napkin around too much on the table. That's when it's about to get crazy up in here.
That's right.
So
That's right.
so that whole thing, by the way, Greta, theater, like the audience, that adrenaline rush of having the audience with you. Can you feel that while you're performing? I've never done a big play, but I've done 2 or 3 plays, and I found that when I was doing them, I felt really connected to the rest of the cast on stage, but I wasn't really sure if we did well until it was over. I don't know. Like, is the experience when you're doing great that you're going to feel it in the audience, or do you really have to wait till it's over, like I did?
I don't know. I think for me, anyways, if I'm thinking in my head, oh shit, I did that delivery great. Look at that one crying. From the peripheral or something. Then I'm not in it.
Yeah. Right. If you're paying attention,
that means
to
I'm
them,
not
you're
in
not
it, and
right.
it's a service to my fellow actors.
Yeah, I see. Because you're distracted.
But you can't help it sometimes, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, I'll say a funny line and somebody laughs, like guy all the way back. He laughs and I'm like, Oh shit.
Well,
I made them laugh.
And they're like, come
Sometimes,
back, Greta, come back.
that's the advantage a comedian has, because they're getting instantaneous feedback on whether their set is working or not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And when you're performing, depending on what you're performing, where you're at on stage, you might not, and depending on what is the story, like you may not get that audible feedback where you do kind of have to look and say, hey, this is supposed to be emotional. Is someone crying? Like, what is happening here? Because we're not going to get laughter here.
Yeah, I've had people cry like on one particular play that I did. And
Was it La Gota
she
Fria?
was letting it known that she was crying. And I was like,
Ugly cry.
When you
yeah,
can
but I
hear
kept
it, it's an
going, and
ugly
then
cry.
Yeah.
but it does feel good. You did touch them, so it's nice. It's just a nice reception. It's a nice reception.
I like it. I love it. Sam, you did it, my friend. Thank you. Those were some
course.
dope audience
Sam, thank
polls.
you
Audience
so
polls. Yep.
Yeah. And thank you to the audience for voting. We couldn't do it without you guys, by the way. So if you love how we engage with you, like we love how you engage with us, make sure you go to YouTube and like and subscribe and watch all the videos. And like we always say, we're going to reply to 100% of that. So keep it coming. We love it. And they fuel our audience polls. So thank you guys for that. Let's move on to some things we should know, man.
With PB.
Yep.
He said Maine.
Okay.
Maine.
Papa Bear.
Maine. Let's go, PB.
My
What you got?
main man,
Educate
Papa
us.
Bear. Why don't you drop some things we should know?
Okay. Well, the first thing we should know
Mm.
is that Things We Should Know is brought to you by the Cotton Bureau, who sponsors our online shop where we offer buttery soft t- t-shirts, hoodies, uh, both pullover and zip up hats, much more. Just go to cottonbureau.com and search for the Make It podcast and find your favorite apparel in your favorite colors, many available emblazoned with your favorite cities like LA, New York, London, Toronto, Tokyo, Chicago, Sydney, Atlanta,
Mm.
New York, London.
Well, you already said New York and London. There's not two New York and two Londons. Well, there might be.
Well, there are.
Yeah, there probably
There's
are.
probably
You're staying
multiple
away?
Londons.
Yeah.
But of course, I want everybody to know Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville.
There
There
it
you
is.
go. There you go. Bring it home.
So don't wait. Go to cottonbureau.com. Make your own personal Make It podcast connection
Mm.
and find us and shop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get one.
Shop. There you
There
go.
you go, Greta. Yeah,
Let's
go to
go.
cottonbureau.com, search for the Make It podcast, pick
Yep.
your city, pick your shirt, pick your color, and you will not regret it. Shout out to Cotton Bureau for that. Papa Bear, hit us with some things we should know here.
All right, Greta, you've worked in a lot of TV shows. And
Nope, no,
worked-
she hasn't. No, I'm just kidding.
Let the man go. Let him go. You messed up his rhythm. You got a rhythm.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
You worked on a lot of TV shows. You worked with a lot of celebrities, both in film and TV. So who is the only person to ever win an Oscar for acting in a Stephen King movie?
Oh, wow. The only person to ever.
Well,
win-
is
I
that
think Sam might know this.
did he? Okay, did this person win for their role in the Stephen King movie, or
Oh, he's being tricky.
Yes.
or okay?
Oh,
okay.
yes.
There we go. That narrows it down.
So go ahead, pick Sam.
I can't pick because I don't watch Stephen King
Kathy
movies
Bates?
like that. So
You don't? You've never watched
Is it
like
Kathy
any
Bates?
Steve?
No.
I just I don't. I can't. It's.
All right, Greta's got Kathy Bates.
That's a good shout.
I'm going to
think-
go with Kathy Bates as well because I think it's for Misery.
Misery.
Yeah, Kathy Bates, Misery. Chris and Greta,
I'm going.
right here.
I don't know. I don't know if this is an. I have no
Or is
idea.
this
if
is this probably being tricky, Sam? You think?
I have. I don't know. I'm going for a weird one that I don't even know.
Matlock. Let's see. That's the.
I'm going Shelley Duvall.
Shelley Duvall. That's
I don't
good.
know. I
What
feel
movie
like
was
it
Shelley
might be
Duvall in?
Shining.
Shining, of course.
Shining.
Dumb.
Yeah, it was like a.
Okay.
It was like a huge deal.
That's right. I always think of Jack Nicholson. Nicholas, are you really abstaining?
I'm gonna have to abstain because I wouldn't know. I mean, the
Can we?
Kathy Bates thing is like, so on the nose that I almost hope it's not that because the Greta connection. But I don't know. What's I can't remember his name now. Of course, I can see him in everything. But the guy who was in Misery, who got his ankles crushed.
Robert De Niro. Is it Robert De
James
Niro?
No,
Caan. James Caan.
James
James
Caan.
Caan.
James
James
Caan.
Caan.
Rest in
Yeah,
peace.
he's just
That's a good guess. I'm gonna write you,
well,
Nick. I'm gonna write
he's
you
just
down for James Caan.
okay because he's just phenomenal in like everything that he
Everything.
does. So
Everything.
Yes.
James Caan. So I've got Greta with Kathy Bates, me with Kathy Bates, Sam with Shelley Duvall, Nick with James Caan. What if it is Jack Nicholson? And by the way,
I don't think it
shout
is.
out to Stephen King. Who is more prolific? Who? I defy you to find somebody who has
Oh,
done more than him. And he has an incredible blog. And Sam, Papa Bear, you know about this, where he teaches you how to write better. And I think that's pretty
Yep.
dope as well.
Ooh,
So
that's
shout out
cool.
to Stephen King. Do you have something else?
All
Do you
right.
have another? Sam, you're about to say something?
no, I was having a conversation with my dad the other day about
Mhm.
authors
Shout out
being
to Dad.
prolific, and Stephen King definitely one to come to mind. Also, we got to shout out Jeff Kinney, author of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Cranks them out year after year.
There you
Sometimes
go.
2, 3 a year. So
Is
if
he
we're
the
talking
new?
prolific,
Is he the new Judy Bloom?
I think he
Oh
would.
my gosh, Judy Bloom.
Judy Bloom.
R.L. Stein
don't
too is my
know.
guy.
R.L. Stein.
Yeah,
Judy
R.L. Stein.
Blume.
I got that book right over there. Yep.
That
Fear Street.
the character Fudge had an unusual impact on my life from a Judy Bloom book, if I have that memorized right, and to the point that where I was well into high school, so I started reading at like 4 or 5 years old, and I would start it with Judy Bloom books. I loved reading them; it was an escape for me. And whenever I didn't know an answer to a question on a test in high school, I would answer Fudge, and it was an homage to Judy Bloom. I don't think I've ever said that ever out loud. So there you go.
Aw,
Shout out to Judy Bloom.
Chris.
Okay, well, and shout out
Dr.
to
Seuss.
my educational system and me not knowing very much, and my my great parents that pushed me towards greatness in education.
That's right, Dante. That's right.
That's right. Okay. Anyhow, it all worked out. Papa Bear,
It did.
give us the answer.
Well, we do have a winner.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's
Two
not Jack then.
winners. It's
Two winners, bro. Come on.
Greta
who it
and
is.
Chris. Yes,
On
it's
the
Kathy
nose.
Bates.
Yep.
There's
on the nose.
no shortage of great villains to be found throughout the works of Stephen
Chris.
King, and it's her for Misery. She's the only one. It's
Wow.
hard to believe.
It's hard to believe because he's had so many great films, and I'll have to give. Listen, let me give this to you, Greta. Congratulations! So I'll have to give it to Greta because I would not have said Kathy Bates if she didn't say it first.
No, and that's
you're
why
just
I
copying.
couldn't, and that's why I couldn't piggyback on it, dude. I had to go somewhere else. It was like, and it was so on the
Yeah.
nose. It's like,
Yeah.
I
we had to be
gotta say,
original.
yes. It's like,
Yeah.
I gotta say somebody
To
else.
spice
off
it up,
principle.
I
Yeah.
can't take full
we
credit
can't be
for this.
stealing
I wouldn't get
answers.
this.
Yeah, man. That's
I
not a
wouldn't-
thing we should
I-
do.
That is not a thing. well played, sir. And Papa Bear, that is a thing we should know. The thing about that one is that makes it different, by the way, Papa Bear, than maybe some of the other hundreds that you've done, is that with this particular answer, the answer isn't the surprising part, I think. The answer is the surprising part, I should say, is the question.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wait,
There's
there's only been
one person.
Only
person
one.
in all of Stephen King's movies to win an Oscar. That's, I think, the surprising part. So that is a thing
And
we should
a
know.
woman.
Thank you, Popper. And
Yes.
a
Yep.
woman. Kathy Bates, shout out to her, top 5% actor of all time to me. She's really great. And you put her in, you plug her in, and you watch the show or movie do really well. It's as simple as that.
And Greta's had the
craft.
privilege of working with her.
That's right.
Yeah,
Greta's had the
quite the blessing. Yeah.
We need to ask you, Greta, when we get back. We need to pay some bills, but when we get back, we need to ask
Oh,
you what you learned from her, if anything, about professionalism, acting, um, anything else that comes to mind. So before we do that, though, let's
And
pay
we'll do
some
that
bills.
after the break.
After the break, we'll be right back. Shout out to today's sponsor, IDOU. Feel like you're falling behind on AI, a little bit worried your organization is pulling ahead without you? Common feeling. Boost your impact and drive your team forward with IDOU's online learning experiences, including the new AI and design thinking programs. You'll master machine learning with IDEO's signature human-centered programs. IDOU has a whole suite of AI and design thinking programs that will show you how to combine AI tools with human-centered design to boost creativity, speed up insights, and solve problems in new ways. Now, Nick, I am currently enrolled in storytelling for influence, and I have to say, these courses are A plus plus.
A plus plus. Now, I'd have to agree with you, my friend. I'm really enjoying the Unlocking Creativity course, as
Mm-hmm.
well as, because, I do two courses at once because I'm like that, Cultivating Creative Collaboration. These are two courses that I think are great for creatives. They're great for filmmakers because they really help you get through some of those blocks, creative blocks that you might have personally, as well as with a team, because we know filmmaking is a collaborative effort. So it's awesome to take these things where you can unlock your personal creativity, get creative confidence in yourself, as well as the collaborative creativity. Get over those roadblocks. Think about diversifying the thinking from a team, making sure that if you get stuck on an idea that you can get past those obstacles and move forward to whatever you're creating. So it's really cool. Those two courses I love. So yeah, IDOU is definitely an awesome platform for people to just be creative.
Yeah, 100%. I've got my eyes on a few courses, and I'm so glad to have them as a partner. So listen up, guys. Class starts soon, so enroll today. For a limited time, IDOU is offering our listeners 15% off site wide. These are not cheap courses because they're high quality. So you're going to want that 15% off. Go to IDOU.com/make it. That's IDEOU.com/make it for 15% off. One more time. It's IDEOU.com/make it for 15% off. Enroll today. Summer is officially here, which means mosquito season is in full swing. Whether it's the annoying buzzing that keeps you up at night, waking up covered in bites, struggling to catch one before it disappears, or trying to keep your home safe for the kids, we've been there. I've got 3 kids. Nick has 3 kids. We've been on outdoor sets doing things. Mosquitoes are an absolute nuisance. So we've all been there. But check this out. Our sponsor for this episode is Bazigo Iris, your smart home mosquito detector.
That's right, Chris. It's an awesome sponsor for us to have
It's
because
different and
it,
awesome.
it,
Yeah.
it is different. But Zigo Iris is a cutting edge device that uses computer vision and AI to detect, track, and pinpoint mosquitoes in real time, which is pretty cool. No more guessing, no more swatting at thin air, which we always do. Just a simple, precise way to finally take control of your space. Now, once a mosquito lands, Bizigo uses an eye safe laser to pinpoint its exact location.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
That way you
That's
don't
some
look like a
like,
fool swatting at the
yeah,
air.
exactly. Right.
Mosquitoes laughing at you with their tiny little mouth.
That's it, at the air. And check it out. It also has night vision detection, so it works in total darkness using infrared technology. Man,
Did you
that's
say
like
detention or detection?
infrared detention? I don't think so. Infrared detection, infrared
Okay.
technology.
Yeah. So stop losing sleep over mosquitoes, guys. Take back your nights with Bazigo Iris. Go to bazigo.com/discount/buzz10, BUZZ 10, and save 10% off. That's a big number because these are, again, that's a quality product. It has a little price to it. You're going to want that 10% off. That is BZIGO.com /discount/buzz10, BUZZ10, spelled not out. So BUZZ10. So buzz10. And use the code buzz10 to get 10% off and say goodbye to itchy bites and sleepless nights once and for all. Thank you again, Bazigo, for sponsoring this episode. And now, Nick, let's go back to the show.
Let's do it.
Back to the show here with Greta. Now, we promised that we'd ask you about, before we get to some filmmaker Q&A, Nick, please let me co-opt your segment here a little bit by asking a filmmaker Q&A question, which
Hey,
is,
go for it, man.
thank you. When you worked with Kathy Bates on the new Matlock, and I'm a big fan of the Andy Griffith Matlock. I watched a lot of those when I was younger. The new one I'm really excited about. With, what'd you say, Papa Bear?
The Andy
He said
Griffith
Andy
Matlock.
Griffith.
Yeah, what did I say?
You said the Andy Griffith Matlock.
Oh, I thought I said like Andy Warhol or something. Like, what did I say?
It'd be kind of awesome. Andy
Yeah,
Warhol, Matlock.
Yeah, that'd be a mescaline trip to watch the
Oh
Andy
my gosh, I
Warhol
can't even imagine. That's
Matlock.
hysterical.
But I haven't got a chance to fully see all of them yet. But I know if Kathy Bates is in it, I know it's Matlock. It's going to be awesome. I've only seen, I want to say, one episode of this. I need to watch more, and I am curious what you may have gleaned in your time with her, from whether it be professionalism or acting or anything else.
She was just so beautiful. And what I admire about working with like big name actors, right? Like I always ask them like, um, what is your process? Like, what do you do? Like to get the lines right. And she was so humble, and she was like, she basically said that she also gets nervous. It's okay. Everybody gets nervous. Everybody messes up.
Hmm.
And what I noticed about her is she listens so intently. And when you're acting, it's all about the other person as well. You react off that other person. She was a wonderful, like wonderful scene partner, and I learned listening from her. I also learned that from Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright he was rooted in, he was just there. He gave me so much. So I think and Kathy also, even when the camera was on me, she gave me the same thing. She gave me that same intensity. Like so it wasn't, the camera wasn't on her. She didn't have to, but she was just a generous actor. And I did the same for her. And I know that she appreciated that, well, because she mentioned it to me. So I think I
Oh, cool.
learned definitely professionalism. I learned humility as well, because she was so humble, and just that she's a person like everybody else. She also has insecurities, and she was just magnificent. It was such a blessing. So that's what I learned. Hopefully I answered your question.
You did. And look,
Yeah.
we've had actors and actresses on this podcast many times before, and we've heard listening be brought up. But what I I don't know if we've ever had anybody, and I'm hoping maybe you can help us out here. Never had anybody just break down, like, when would-be actors hear listen better, they're like, oh, cool, I can do that. I already listen well. But clearly that isn't the case, because you definitely have a wide range of talent in that career. So what are some of these performers missing, creators missing, about the lesson of listening that necessarily isn't translated in the advice of, hey, you got to be a good listener?
So it also depends, right? Sometimes you don't have to listen. Depends on
Mm,
your character. Sometimes we don't listen to humanity. I'm not listening. Go about your business, and then you're not
mm,
listening. And then you will react, or you say the line based on your internal dialogue. Why? Because you're not listening. But I
okay.
think listening is important in a broad view, because it's like a ping pong game. You give me, I give you. So if I'm
Mm,
listening to you, I'm going to react based on what you're telling me. My intonation is probably going to change based on what you're telling me. But then, like I said, also, like, it's so important to listen, because sometimes people just want to be in their head and act what they think how they think they should say it. Meanwhile, it doesn't match. You're throwing the ball all over the place. You have to.
okay.
It's like a game. You got to give it back to each other. So listening is so important, because you'll know what your other. It's always about the other person. I think, anyways, when you're acting, it's always about the other person. You have your internal stuff going on, but you got to listen again if you're supposed to listen, because there are some characters. Because I think people forget acting is life. You don't always have to
Okay.
be. You don't always have to listen, depending again on the character. You can always, you can be in just internal and just not do anything. It really does depend, but listening is very important. But again, it depends on the role that you're doing. But
Is
the listening
listening,
is just about the back and forth.
but is that
I'm
like
going to react to what
matching
you're
the
saying.
intensity? Is that what it is? It's like matching the other person. Is that what listening really is? Because I think that's the hard part, Chris, that I think that it might
Mhm.
be for people. It's like, well, what does listening mean? Like, because you think about that as it's your ears, right? I have to hear what a person is saying. It's like, well, like you said, Chris, I'm good at that. I can hear them, but I don't think that's what listening really means. It sounds like it's
In
matching. It's
acting,
matching
it
the
means it might
intensity.
mean
It
rhythm
might be,
too.
yeah, it might be empathizing. Like you said, you don't have to listen, right? If you're not empathizing. So
Empathizing, yeah, empathizing. Yeah, it's a major rule in acting. I think if you have empathy, you can act. I think honestly, um, it's a tough question because that's there's hearing and listening, right?
mhm.
So it's not really to match your intensity because you can react, but as long as you're taking in what they're saying rather than just hearing them, letting go. And like a lot of actors tend, like I said before, like they tend to have their own expectations of how they should act. Oh, this scene, I'm really angry. I'm just gonna raise my voice. Another person's like, not raising their voice. And you could technically make that choice, but typically, if you're really listening to the person, and you may not want to raise your voice. So it really, I can't really explain it, but I think, when you're on set or like when you take classes and stuff, they'll go more in depth over it. But just being there in the moment with the person
Mm.
and reacting organically based on the situation that's going on
Yeah.
is
Insert
Like
Because
I said,
yourself
there it
into the
is. Yep.
dialogue.
Yep.
well,
Reacting
because
organically.
yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
I think so, Nick. Because I don't like. The thing I don't like about intensity is that you may not be an intense character, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's what Greta was
a
saying. Yeah,
lot of a lot
sometimes
of
it
a lot of
doesn't have to
times
be
you have
like that way.
if there's a two-person scene, there's a power dynamic basically usually, and if you're playing the part that has that's powerless, then matching that intensity wouldn't match
Yeah. Yeah. And I
the
think
sort of
my
story
yeah,
arc of
my
that
my
person.
intent my
Yeah.
intent with the
Exactly.
matching was more about like you're seeing the intensity and you're playing off of that, right? Not
Yeah.
equaling it, but you're matching it by saying, okay, like you
Ah,
said, if there's a power dynamic, I know the role that I'm playing. So I need in that moment, I must organically play the part to that role. So yeah, that's it. But yeah, I think
Like,
organically playing that part, I think
yeah,
is
like a
huge.
great scene to look at. Yeah, like the where they're, my God, it's a beautiful scene between Philip Seymour Hoffman and Meryl Streep in the movie Doubt.
mhm.
There's a scene that both of them go at it, and it's like an orchestra. It's beautiful. It's beautiful because they're both listening, but they're both reacting according based on the circumstance, and they're just there. They're listening. They're present.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
that's a
gonna
great
check that.
example to
I don't
watch.
think I've
It's
seen
just,
Doubt. I need to check that out. Sam, have you seen Doubt?
oh, you must watch it. It's so good.
Not no.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. There
Watch
was
it.
a
It's with Philip Seymour
scene.
Hoffman and Meryl Streep.
I mean, how do you go? How do you even go wrong there? But
Yeah, you go
but
wrong.
is that your favorite Philip Seymour Hoffman performance, by the way? Is in that film or what?
My
Which one would
favorite
be your?
Philip Seymour
Because
Hoffman
we you love
performance.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I
It's
love
a
him.
scent of a
Yeah,
woman by far.
yeah. For those just
Mine is
listening,
Love
Greta
Liza.
just pulled up the screensaver, the wallpaper on her phone, and it's just a close up of Philip Seymour Hoffman. So yes, there's a lot of love there.
Yeah,
So which
it's.
And the
what's your
banner
favorite
on her
performance?
Facebook page.
Banner on her
Oh
Facebook
my
page
gosh,
is also
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's Love Liza. That's where I first saw him.
Love
Interesting.
Liza.
hmm
It's a very, a lot of people don't know about the movie, but that's where I
I
fell in
don't.
love.
Deep cut.
Yeah.
Philip Seymour
Okay. Now I
Hoffman.
got
Deep cut.
two Philip Seymour Hoffman movies to watch. I got Doubt and Love Liza to
You
check
have
out.
to.
That rhythm that you're talking about, though, there's a scene. You were in Succession. There's a scene in season 4 of Succession where the Shiv character and her husband are just finally having it out. The things they need to say to each other for basically 4 seasons, and it is intense. It sounds exactly like a marriage on the rocks would sound, and it was so well written. Shout
It's
out to Jesse
beautiful.
Armstrong. So well written, so real, so visceral, so raw. It was. Yeah, everybody should just go. Even if you don't like Succession, because there are some people that have told me I don't want to root for these characters because I hate what they're about. Okay, but watch that scene.
That's beautiful. That's a compliment to the
Yeah, right.
actors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They're doing a
That's what
exactly.
I
great
If
was
you
job.
gonna
actually
say.
have that
yeah,
visceral response,
yeah.
yes,
I loved it
compliment.
for
Mhm.
exactly, Grant. I think you're spot on. Okay, so Nick, can
Mm.
you lead us into the through the woods, clear
lead us
path,
in. Lead
lead
us
us,
into the
yeah,
educational segment,
yeah, lead us
another
into the
educational
deep
segment of
to
the
the
show.
deep waters
Mm.
of filmmaker Q&A.
Deep waters. Yeah, we do go deep here. I like that, and it's a call out to Greta's blue that she's wearing. So we're
There's
going
no
into the deep
lifeguard on
blue.
duty. If you get
What is
lost
that
in those
known
blue
as?
eyes, what?
What is that
What?
segment known as?
Oh, filmmaker Q&A brought to you by Mastering Film Marketing. But guys, for real, just gotta let you know we got a book out there, Mastering Film Marketing. It's available on our beacons, which we got all sorts of goodness out there. You can check it out. Link in the show notes. But we are always talking to people about, if you're an independent filmmaker specifically, putting your stuff out there, you got to market it. Like, people have to know about the great things that you're doing.
Non-negotiable.
Okay. Yes. 100%. Don't expect it to, you put it up on the wall and then people get to see it. No, you got to show it to people, get it out there.
Mm.
So Mastering Film Marketing is available on the beacons, and we got the link in the show notes below. So now let's get to it. Filmmaker Q&A. All right.
Yes.
I wrote these questions down. I like doing that. It's a little tactile. All right. I could have it on the screen, but I wrote them down. So yeah, man. So all right, for the first one is, what are the three best resources available to aspiring actors?
Hmm.
3.
Ooh, 3. Backstage magazine,
Yep. You mentioned that like day one, I
Actors
think, right?
Access.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's been I love Backstage.
Yep.
Um, so Backstage, Actors Access, and casting networks. So the Actors Access, sometimes some casting directors may put some auditions down that is open to the public, and then casting networks is mostly for commercials, but they also have some short films in there, and it's a good way to build. And Backstage, it's a good way to build your reel, because you can put student films in there, you can even put audition tapes in there just to show your work, so that when you are on Actors Access, or you go through a showcase and an agent's like, can I see your work? And then you can send them that link of the short films that you've done, and you can get representation from there. So those 3 are very good.
That's awesome. I was actually thinking about, I don't know how many years ago this was, but like a local musician that I knew was telling me, he was like, yeah, man, they're doing this like local casting call thing, and I'm gonna go check it out. I was like, okay, like, what's this about? So you could show, just come support me, whatever. I went. Man, that looked like the shadiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, they had rented some warehouse space, and I go in there and he's sitting there like with his demo CD and trying to figure out what's going to go. And they keep taking people back, and you see people show up with all these wardrobes and they're taking pictures, and then they come back and they're like, yeah, so all you're
Yeah,
going
you
to
gotta be
need to
careful.
do is come back, and we loved you. We love what you did. So, but you need to come back, and we're going to take those headshots. And the packages start around 250, 350, something like that. And I see all these mothers in there with their little kids, and I'm like,
Oh
man,
man.
this is not real. You're like, this is fake. So like, do you see that? Were you ever involved in that? Like, did you ever like get called up to come to one of
Yeah.
those things? You have friends go, like, those things are crazy.
When I was younger, prior to my dad winning the lotto, my mom and I
Shout out to Pops.
That's
had
right.
gone, had gone into, like, it was an ad, I don't know where, it wasn't on Backstage though.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Mommy, please, por favor. And she ended up taking me, and they were like, just for $1,300, we walked out of there so
Well, yeah,
fast. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
What?
It's crazy. It's like, and
And
especially
I was
as
crying. How could you? You can't
yeah, it's
believe.
only $1,000. But yeah, so that's good.
1,300.
Yeah, the ones that you gave, those are great for our audience to know. Like, if you're gonna be serious about it, be serious about it, right? Use the serious
Yeah.
services that are gonna get you there. So that's great. All right,
They also,
next one.
by the way, Nick,
No, go ahead, man.
they have that in music too.
Oh yeah.
So shout out to Phil Vassar, who is a country music legend in his own right, songwriter for sure. He knew me from Songwriters Nights, and he was furious to find out that a guy had tried to charge me $5,000 for I think a 2-song or 4-song demo. At the time, $5,000 would have been like $20,000 today. Like,
Hmm.
it's just like so much money. And he's like, you don't need that at all to get a record deal or to do
No.
anything in music. Just keep writing, write great songs. That's all you need to do. Anyway, go ahead, Nick.
Boom.
If they ask you for money up front, it's a
Avoid the
no.
grip.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it right there. If they ask you for money up front, it's a no-go.
Yeah. And if they don't
All
pay
right.
you
All
for your IP up front,
right.
it's
Pay you.
also likely a grift, in film specifically, film distribution.
Yep.
Avoid pay later contracts with specific dollar amounts in the contract. Anyway, go ahead, Nick.
Yep. All right. Next one. How important are agents and managers in booking TV roles, and how did you find yours?
Mm.
It's very important to have an agent and manager because agent and managers, they have access to, which is a division of actors, access to something called breakdowns. And that's where all the studios look for their actors.
Okay.
That's where everything happens. The co-stars, guest stars, recurring guest stars, top of show guest stars. That's where it all takes place. So it's very important to get a agent and a manager. Oh, not necessarily a manager, but more an agent. And how I got mine, the first one was a showcase. Got me with a Polaroid. Thank you, Shirley. But after that, I went on places like Actors Connection, who I love so much. The Actors Connection has been around forever. And there you get to meet agents. They give you sides and you perform in front of the agents. And if they're interested, they'll give you a call. And that's how I got my agents. Yeah, that's how I got them. So classes and study, 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 study.
So let me ask you about the studying real quick.
Because when you
Which
study,
way?
like
Wait,
you get an
Nick, which
agent,
one?
you go
Which
to
which one?
No. Which one? Which study?
There was
the third
8
one.
studies
The
in
third
there.
one. The
Okay,
third
got it.
study.
Third
So
study.
I was at a film festival and I was in an acting course, and a young lady got up and was saying something about
Study 3.
I think she had
the
done
learning.
like 70 different auditions and she hadn't booked something yet, right? And she'd been taking these acting classes, and as sad as it is, one of the first things I thought of, I was like, well, maybe you're actually just not that good,
You're
right?
so mean.
You've done all these things.
You're
Well,
so
I
mean,
just
Nick.
because at some point I feel like there's the balance between giving positive feedback, saying just keep at it, right? Because I hear this a lot. Keep doing what you're doing, and you'll be
Perseverance.
successful, right? But what if you're doing the wrong thing? So my question, to kind of follow up, would be if you're
yeah.
taking these classes from, let's say, a person, right, and you're not booking, when do you stop taking the classes from that person and go somewhere else? When do you decide that you need to change it up? I know there's no number, but in your mind, like, when do you know you need to do something
Yeah.
different to get that next role?
So I think so. What I mean by study, study, study is just like learn different techniques to get you to where you want to be with a role, to
Mm-hmm.
get you to book the job, to get you to explore a character. But if you innately can relate to that character, if you innately can, just use that. Because I think people get too caught up also on technique
Mm.
that they lose humanity and you go backwards. Right. So the acting, for me, acting classes, like things like Strasberg, he does the method. You have relaxation exercises. It teaches you how to get yourself out of your own way. Right.
Mm.
So like Meisner, repetition, it just gets you comfortable so that you can go from within, from your experiences, or well, not necessarily Meisner, but Strasberg, from your experiences, and you let go, you're able to relax. So that's a major, for me, that's a major thing, relaxation, because I think that's when you can do your best work because you're just loose. Right. But some people get stuck in the technique of it all, like, what's the objective of this scene, or what the different techniques out there, right? I can't even think of them right now, and people get so lost in that and they forget the freaking line is just, "Kai, can I take your order?"
Right.
It's like, just say the line.
Just say it.
Just say
Oh
the
my god, I
line.
sounded like Salma Hayek. Just say the line.
Well,
Like,
hey,
but like,
hey,
but
that's my favorite of all time. Just so you know. Just so you
I
know.
love Salma.
Yeah, she's the best, and she's on the
I
Which,
don't
by
think
the
cover.
way,
I don't
Salma
think I
Hayek
knew
gave
that,
me my
Nick.
first background job. She
Really?
gave me my first background
Oh,
job, Salma Hayek. Yeah, she,
Shout out to
and David
Selma Hayek.
Letterman, a show from back in the day, Sam. Whew, And she was signing autographs, and I had an ex-boyfriend that lived around the corner from the David Letterman show,
Hmm.
the Ed, I forgot the name of Ed Sullivan
Ed
Ed
Theater.
Sullivan
Sullivan.
And
Theater.
I'm like, who are they waiting for? Yeah, I'm like, who are they waiting for? And I asked the people, I'm like, who are you waiting for? And I was like very young. And they were like, Salma Hayek. And I was like, oh my gosh, Salma Hayek. Let me see how she looks in real person. Is she that gorgeous? She was. So then I'm
Hmm.
like waiting there, and she comes, and I remember knowing her birthday's the same as mine, September 2nd.
Oh wow.
And I said to her, oh,
Virgo.
we share the same birthday, trying to make conversation, right? She's like, oh my gosh, we're the same birthday, but you're much younger than me. Oh my gosh, I'm filming, so do you want to be an extra? And I'm like,
What?
yeah, go over there. Go over there later today, and I'll make sure you become an extra. And I was an extra in Studio 54 because of her. And she'll never remember this, but
Wow.
yeah. Hi,
Yeah,
Salma.
she's one of my favorites,
Yeah.
and she's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. So,
Yeah.
like,
She's
Right
just
now?
did a
yes,
Oh.
yes.
yeah, she never thought she would be on
She's
there ever because
gorgeous.
she didn't think that she was that type of pretty. And here at this stage of her life, people are
Oh,
telling her, "Hey, you're that type of pretty."
All
So,
right, guys. I'll be
come on, let's
back.
do this.
I'm gonna go check this out.
Yeah, man, that's my lady.
Nick's getting lost in
Yeah,
legacy.
that's my lady. All right, all right, all right. So next
Mine is
one.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I mean, hey, everybody's got a thing.
Parker,
Okay.
put these pictures in the chat now.
Yeah. You can't get distracted, man. Can't get distracted. Okay, here's a question. So we are big fans of the idea of like produce where you are. We've said that probably, I don't know, 1,000 times in the
Yeah.
podcast. But do you believe that you actually have to live in or near LA, New York, or Miami to get on TV?
No. Now that since COVID, we do everything in self-tape, so you record it and you upload it. You can be
Mhm.
anywhere in the world, and you can say you're. I mean, I don't advise this, but if they're looking for a local hire, say you're local hire. I'm local hire in Paris.
Right. I'll
Yeah.
get there.
I'll
Wherever
get
I
there.
can get to work, I'll get there.
Right.
I'm local hire, local
Play
to the
the-
airport.
Right.
Get ready.
Play the game a little bit, right?
Well, that's
You gotta-
awesome.
You
That's
have to.
Yeah, you got to play
that's
the
great
game a little
because
bit.
I think that's still because that's what we think about, right? I think still, I mean, it's a trope, but you think about the actors in the cafes and the restaurants in LA, right? And they're handing out stuff, they're talking to people, and you feel like that's where it is and that's where the business is. But like, so have you? I know you did one in Atlanta, the show, but like, have you done anything? Let's say outside of the big four, like LA, New York, Miami, Atlanta. Have you done series elsewhere in states that we wouldn't even think about?
No, but I've done a play in Serbia and Ireland.
Mm.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a lot of fun. It started in New York, and they had us go to Serbia and Ireland. That was beautiful.
I heard
Wow.
Ireland is
Beautiful.
incredible.
But for TV and film, I got close to Hungary, but I didn't book it.
I heard Ireland's really
Next
beautiful,
time.
but I haven't heard about Serbia. What is Serbia like? Just as a quick sidebar, I'm curious. Like, is Serbia like old architecture, like concrete brutalist style, or what is it like?
I really didn't spend that much time there.
It's
I just, I,
filming.
okay.
This
So
focus.
transparent. I'm very anxious too. I'm
Yeah.
an anxiety-ridden person. I live in fear. So it was just my theater. I would go to the play, rehearse, come back. Go to the play, rehearse, come back.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the language. Go to the play, come back. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? I didn't know. Yeah, Ireland was really nice. It was like a pub. You know how they have Starbucks here in they have pubs in every corner.
Yeah. So you stay, and then you still didn't have alcohol, right?
No,
No, she just
Amazing.
got it spilled on her. in the pub.
Amazing.
That's all.
amazing. Hey, how does this even? How do you show up in Ireland and don't drink? It's amazing. Your willpower is equal to your anxiety.
Mm.
You have
Yeah, because I
you have
get
kryptonite
anxious
over
out of
here, and then
the-
you have like a superpower over here.
Yeah, because I'm worried. Like, what if I drink and then I lose control and I pass out and I urinate on myself? That brings me anxiety, so therefore I don't do it.
Look, hey Nick, she doesn't want to be a stranger in Moscow.
No, she doesn't. No, she
don't want to
doesn't.
be in that situation. Shout out to
No.
Michael Jackson. All right,
Yeah.
Nick, continue, please, sir. Oh yeah, that's it. That's it.
All right. My last two aren't Q&As, okay? This is for Greta, and I was gonna say it's for intern Sam too, but I don't think he's gonna. He's not up on his Philip Seymour Hoffman. So I've got two
Deep offense taken by intern Sam.
No.
For those
He's
listening.
just. I mean,
It's
I'm just
fine.
saying he
I
might
don't
not be
care.
on the level. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Because Greta's here. So I've got two riddles, and I want to see if you can figure out what these two movies are. All right. So Sam, you can join up if you want. So the first one is this: a whisper becomes a storm in sacred halls,
Okay.
where one woman's certainty threatens a man's calling. There is no proof, only suspicion, and a silence that says too much or too little. In a place ruled by faith, one question lingers without end.
That
What
riddle's too
movie is
long,
it?
dog.
Doubt.
You got it.
Damn
Doubt.
it.
Yes. I knew she was gonna get that. I was like, I could see it. I could see it in her eyes. That's perfect. All right. So it's doubt.
Doubt. Yeah.
And Sam, see, he wasn't quick enough. So it's all good.
He hadn't
No
seen
worries.
Fine.
No, he hasn't seen it. Exactly. All right. Second one and
That
last
was
one.
great,
You ready?
Greta. That was a good
No,
read
yeah,
too, Nick. For them.
she's got. Thank you. All right, except for
That was
the
excellent.
mistake. All right. He wore tailored suits and sipped whiskey in hot tubs, yet changed the course of a distant war with a whisper. A congressman with a taste for excess, a spy with a grudge and a plan, and a Texan hostess who pulled the strings behind the curtain. Their fight was secret, their victory public, but peace was never part of the deal.
Yes, that's the movie with Tom Hanks and Julia Roberts and him, but I can't remember the name of Heart. Nope, no, wasn't it? I can't remember the name of the movie, but I know it's with Julia Roberts, Tom Hanks. Can I look it up? And I'll give you the name because I
Wait,
know who it is.
Sam
I
first.
can't look it up.
I haven't. You were right. Nick.
Hoffman was gone before Sam was even born.
Yeah. It is the movie title is Charlie Wilson's
War.
War.
Charlie Wilson's War.
Yes.
Great movie.
Yep. So she had it though.
Darn it,
I'll
that
give
was
it.
an awesome movie. I can't believe I got the name.
Yep.
Julia Roberts. I knew it was Julia Roberts.
You had it. I know.
I knew it was that one. I remember him playing a Greek. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to you. Well done. That's
Congratulations.
it. That's all I got.
Thank you.
I had to
lost.
throw those in there. No. You got the first one and the second. You just didn't have the title. You knew the movie.
She
you just
knew.
didn't have
She
the
knew
title.
the movie. She
Yeah,
said
okay.
the title
Yeah,
escaped
exactly.
her. By the way, Greta, have you noticed producer Papa Bear's background here? Now, for those just listening, he is. I guess the way I would describe it is he has a digital background that has bowling pins, but from the POV of behind the pins instead
I'm
of.
on
It's a
the
bowling pin.
I'm on
Yeah, he himself
the
is a bowling
perilous
pin.
side of bowling pins,
Right.
Correct.
living on the edge.
Do you know this, Greta? This might be the third riddle, but not on purpose. It is an homage to you, by the way.
Yes, I
Because
know
you
that
do love
movie.
bowling, but it's also
Actually,
an extra
She
homage.
knows the movie. She's hurting. She knows who's in it too. Like she has ideas of who this is.
I had a second things we should know that relates to this, but because of some discussions we had,
I knew you were hurting, PB, when they were. I knew it. I could see it in your face. So he was like, "Dang it!"
inside.
He was like, "Dang it, Bobby!
give them the easy
What the
one.
hell?"
What the hell?
Dang it, boy!
Lebowski.
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
there it is.
Nailed it. Philip
That's
So, but
the-
why?
in there.
Why? Wait. Why, PB?
Well,
Why do you have this?
it's the one film that Philip Seymour Hoffman appeared in that has been selected for the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant.
That's beautiful.
That
There
is
you go.
interesting, actually.
is.
You'd think that, I mean, especially with some of his other work and things like
Capote.
Boogie Nights. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe they would have,
Capote
Big
was
Lebowski.
great. The one he did with Marissa Tomei. What was that, Greta?
Yes. The devil knows you're dead.
The Devil Knows You're
The devil
Dead.
knows you're lying. The devil knows something.
No, it's Before the
The
Devil
devil
Knows.
knows
It's called
The
Before
devil
the Devil.
knows
Before
everything.
the Devil Knows You're Dead. It's called Before the Devil Knows You're Dead,
before the devil knows you're dead. Okay,
which
okay.
is a
I thought you meant the
great
movie
title.
before the devil.
Yeah,
I know
really,
he was like,
really,
no, before that. No,
really,
before
really,
that, Greta.
really, really great title, right? Like I,
Sam was the only one that got what I was saying.
Yeah.
I love
Sam,
that movie,
like,
by the way. It's fantastic, and
Ethan Hawke's amazing in that too.
yeah, Ethan Hawke will steal a movie from you.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
like go back and watch
Or a
Training
show.
Day, but like go back and watch Training Day, and then go watch it for Ethan Hawke instead of Denzel, and you might come to the conclusion that he might have stole that movie from Denzel, even though Denzel won the Oscar for it.
I'm not with
No.
that.
Sam
Nah.
Fillers.
No. He probably did it for a lot of other
So
things,
does
but
Mr.
not
Bear,
that
baby.
one.
That's
Check it
like
out.
Denzel's. That's like one of Denzel's best. Like,
Yeah.
I would
Because
He won
say.
an Oscar for that, no?
is it really?
think
He
so.
did.
I think people say that because he won an Oscar, but that was the year where Black people had to win an Oscar. So we forget that in history. That Oscar
no,
was
see,
the one where
Sam
they
doesn't
gave
care
it to
about that.
Halle. They gave it to Halle, and they
Yeah,
gave
Sam
it to
doesn't care about
Denzel, and they gave it to like it was the diversity year. And I'm not saying Denzel didn't kill it because he absolutely did, but to say that's his best role, to say he's better in that than he was in Philadelphia or Glory or anything,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
Well,
know.
also
I don't know about. I
Stereotype,
don't know
right?
about that. I just think he won for
His
that one. He just
his
won.
best role. Let's not get it twisted. Is in American Gangster. That's his best role.
American Gangster's pretty good. I don't know if it's his
Have y'all
best,
seen
but I love
Glory?
it.
Yeah, Glory. But I give it
Glory's
to Malcolm
great.
X. Like nobody talks about Malcolm X, bro.
Malcolm
I'm sorry.
X,
Like
great.
that's it for
no.
me.
You see
Oh,
that?
Malcolm
That's
X.
the one that I think is kind of pushed as his best. You see,
That
that's what I.
oh
I
no
kinda feel
I
like
never
that's-
I don't hear people talk about Malcolm X like that. That's what I'm saying. Like hear people
No,
say
I do.
Glory. Oh, I'm glad. I want to hang out with your friends, bro, because Malcolm X is one of my favorites. I'm like, he did it. He was Malcolm X.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. When I think about Malcolm X, I think about Denzel Washington. Like, that's
Sure.
it for me.
Yeah.
Yes, and Glory was great, and
He disappeared as
Training
well.
Day was
yeah,
great, but it just
Training
felt
Day
like
was no man. It's just the
people
way he
default
did.
to
He
Training Day
went
because he
all out.
won. Go back
Well,
and watch it again and watch what Ethan Hawke has to do to make that movie
Yeah,
go.
I would agree. I mean, I think Denzel is really one of these actors where you could argue almost any one of his roles is the best. You know, I think that he
Devil in a blue dress.
puts
Mhm.
up numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great this last Gladiators too. I thought he was really convincing in
I'm
this
ready.
in Gladiator 2. I thought he was really great in that. But I just and maybe I won't stick to this 100%, but I'd just say go back and watch Train Day again and watch what Ethan Hawke had to do to make that movie go. Just check it out as objectively as you can. Okay, this has been fantastic. So many things piled in, stacked in, jammed into
Learned
one amazing episode. Greta, you've been incredible. And like we do at the end of every episode, we ask all of our guests, what does it mean for you to make it?
What does it mean to make it?
Mm-hmm. But personal to you.
It's personal to me.
Yeah. Because I know there's
feel
a
like
way
I
to
made
answer it for everybody, but maybe for you.
No.
Yeah, I feel that I made it only because not that I'm a household name but that I'm acting and I'm living my dreams ever since I was a kid, and also aside from acting, like I have a great job in doing social work. My mom passed away of dementia 4 years ago, so now I help people with loved ones who have that ailment. And so where I was before, where I was raised, we would see people get shot in front of us, like, and we were homeless for a little bit too. So I think I've made it just because of that. And I think the definition of making it is different for everyone. I pray one day to walk a red carpet, God willing, but I'm good. I've made it because I've worked with Kathy Bates. I've been on set. I even if it was a short film, when I booked that first co-star, it was on Rescue Me. It was with Dennis Leary. I didn't have any lines, but I gave birth. I made it right then in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I made it. So that's what it means to me. It's perseverance, dedication, and what your idea of making it is, just to be happy in the moment that you're living it and be grateful. And when you've established those little traits, I think you've made it. So I
That's
made
a
it.
beautiful answer.
Amen.
Yeah. Woman of my own heart, by the way. overcame some things myself. I really relate to that. But the main thing I think the four of us on this podcast relate to on that, and I'll speak for you guys, but if you disagree, feel free to jump in. It's just that anything you do is worth doing with passion, right? Like it doesn't matter if a million people are watching this show or one person's watching this show.
Mhm.
I take myself back to that story where Tupac invites Janet Jackson when they're shooting their movie together to a concert, and she was the only person there, and he rocked the stage like it was a packed crowd. That's how the story went, and that's how you have to go out every day, especially as a creative. You get told no a lot. You get a lot of rejection. You're not
Yeah.
getting everything you want all the time. It's incredibly competitive. And so I think that making sure you go out and have that gratitude for just being in the position, like Nick always says, we get to do this. I think that's a form of making it for sure. Tell us again what you have coming up. Tell us where we can find you on social media, on the internet, see some of your work, all the things.
Okay. Well, Divorce Sisters is coming out on BET,
I like that pronunciation.
and that's awesome. It's coming out mid-June, and let's see what else. And then you can catch me on Matlock. You can go on Paramount Plus, and there's all the little things I've done. You can check out my IMDb. That is uh, linked to my Instagram,
Mhm.
and you can follow me at Greta Quispe on Instagram and on Facebook. And
And
I'll follow you back because I don't like those people that don't follow people back.
I love
And then
that.
stay
And
following me because then if you
Nice.
unfollow me, I will unfollow you.
Unfollow
So
you.
try to get numbers.
Right.
don't mess with me. I won't mess with you.
That's right. That's right.
Just for those
She
for
listening.
those
She's
for those
listening.
listening,
Until the first one came out, I said word.
Yeah, right. I felt it.
I went to.
Yeah.
for those just listening, that is spelled Quispe. If you go search for that, so Greta Quispe. This has been an absolute
One T.
blast. One T, Greta, not TTA. Are there TTAs?
Nah.
I've never
No,
seen
No.
a
I've
Greta
heard people always
TTA.
ask me one
No.
T, and I'm like one T.
Yeah, no.
They
They're
exist,
being
I'm
ridiculous.
sure.
No, come on.
Thank you, Sam.
Oh,
Do you still pronounce it Greta
Papa
then,
Bear was
or is it
quick.
Greta?
Ta-ta-ta. That's Greta
Gotta
Quispe.
roll your T's.
That's an exciting name. That's an exciting name. Greta.
Greta.
All right.
Man,
Greta.
I had to pick up some rugs at
Mm.
Lowe's
Oh,
last
that's
night,
mm.
and the girl in there, her name was
What a
Holly.
segue.
Her name was Holly, and I gotta wait for these rugs because there's a dude that has to bring it from the back. She's like, some people they spell my name with an IE. We got a girl here. She goes IE. It's not even her real name. And I'm
Mm.
like, why are you sharing this? This is insane. This is amazing.
Because she was
No,
waiting
Chris, that-
too.
It's like you've been
was a-
waiting
no,
all
that-
day to
That
tell
was a
me about.
therapy moment, bro.
Exactly.
Like she,
It's all
she
day to
needed
just
get
say.
that off her chest,
She's like,
bro,
yeah,
and you were
she's
just
a
there.
bitch.
Yep.
She's like, you're using the IE. Her name's really why I like me. I could go IE. I could go IE. I've got more self confidence than that. So I love it. Okay,
That's right.
Greta with one T,
One T.
Quispe. Go
SPE.
find her. Go support
rhymes.
her. Go follow her everywhere she's at. It is going to be well worth it. You are a blast to be around. You're a joy. You're a light. I can feel the energy through the screen. Thank you for your attention, engagement, energy on the podcast. If you are watching this podcast on YouTube, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, share, watch this thing, engage with us. We'll engage with you back.
Engage.
If you're on Apple and Spotify, come on over to YouTube. We have a great platform here for you. But if you want to stay there, that's all good. Maybe you're on your morning drive. We get that. I get that. I do that. What you need to do is drop 5 stars for us. Go ahead. Not 1 star,
And
not
a
2,
review.
not 3, not 4. We need 5. 1, 2,
Yep.
3, 4, 5th. We
1,
need
2, 3, 4,
5.
5th.
We need
Yeah, that's
5
right.
stars on Spotify
Yeah,
and on Apple.
and reviews. Use
and
your words.
reviews.
We
It
love
really
the
helps with
words.
discoverability. Do your thing out there, community. We really appreciate it. Appreciate you for that. Like Papa Bear mentioned before, go to cottonbureau.com for all of our gear and our partnership there. Just search for the Make It Podcast. Nick mentioned earlier, We have an ebook on beacons.ai/make it podcast. So beacons.ai/make it podcast. We have a few digital products for you there. But the one he talked about was movie film. Is it movie film marketing?
Mastering.
Oh, mastering.
Film.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Mastering.
Mastering film marketing. My bad. Rewind that. Undo that.
It's all to the good.
Yeah. Mastering film marketing. Go get that. It's a great ebook. You can't really succeed without marketing your film. Even if it's a short film, you may not be able to monetize it the way you hope, but at least eyeballs can get on it by using these techniques in this book. And that's what you're looking for. The short film can be at springboard to your feature or to something else that you do. So make sure you go download that right now from beacons.ai. Great platform. Shout out to Beacons. Beacons.ai/make it podcast. And we'll come right up. You can download from there. And with that, Nick, can you please leave us with the credo?
Yeah, man. And of course, before I do that, I was just thinking about the gratitude thing and had like an internal Jesse Jackson moment, and it was bubbling up in me. And I was just thinking, I was like, when gratitude is your attitude, okay, listen up now. When gratitude is your attitude, there's no limit to your altitude. You hear me now? Intern Sam, you got me on that. All right. You got to write that. It's got to put it on the wall, man.
But we say that in love because we love you so much. So, in love and respect and admiration.
Greta, just so you know, because you don't know, because Chris be pushing that button and playing this random stuff. That was me. That was a voicemail that I had dropped to somebody, and Chris was snipping it, But
I
anyway,
snipped the voicemail.
You snipped the voicemail.
No, that was good. By the way, things you should know, Jesse Jackson is giving credit for the term African American. The popularization of the term African American. Now, I've said on this podcast many times that white people created that. I still believe that, but he's the face of it.
No. He came up with African American.
That was kind of like an amalgamation between Obama and Jesse Jackson. Right there. No, that's Clinton right there. Clinton's forward.
Yeah, get them all together, and it saves you more. Yeah. All right, guys, this was great. Again, Greta, thank you for this. This is awesome. Like I said earlier, it's like family. That's what it felt like. Yep. So just a great conversation. We loved it. Certainly. We appreciate you. And with that, I will say to our filmmaking friends, family, fans, and followers out there, be better, be creative, be engaged.
And thank you for listening. Papa Bear, Nick, Sam, love you all. See you soon. Greta,
appreciate
you.
See you soon.
Greta.
My voice cracked like Bobby Brady like there, but it's all good.
It's all good. You were verklempt. It's all good. You know what I'm saying?
And in 5, 4, 3, 2,
and that's our show.
1. And that's our show. See you guys all.
Later,
soon.
folks.
Love you. Be good.
Bye.
Peace.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.